Hi, and welcome to the beginning of a series explaining the mechanisms in 5 minigame levels in Levelhead. This is a soft collaboration between me and Celix, aka TheMageOrb. He's done a playthrough of the 5 minigames, and I'd recommend watching his video first. Hopefully, you'll be so wowed by the contraptions, you won't be able to resist coming back to this video to learn how they work. Check the video description for a link to his playthrough. For our first video, we're going to be analysing Block Breakout, a breakout recreation by FlowArt. Although this level is quite simple, all the mechanisms we're going to cover are also used in other minigame levels, so we'll be covering them here rather than in the rest of the series. We'll start with the simple stuff and then get more complicated. Forgive me if the first two concepts are a little basic. I imagine many people understand them already, but I'd rather not leave anyone behind. The life system is very simple. As the level starts, you're given armour. Every time the package falls off the screen, a package cam detects it and activates the spike beneath you. The second time you get hit, you die. Easy. The win condition is also very simple, but there's a few mechanisms at work. A gem is hidden in each block. Hitting the block collects the gem. The gem switch is activated when all the gems are collected, triggering the rifts under the goal to open. When you let the package fall into the rifts, it's transported elsewhere. When a package cam detects the package leaving the main screen, it sends a signal to a rift that has been overlaid onto the same space as Gear 18. This rift carries our mechanical friends to the end screen. Let's quickly talk about how to overlay things in Levelhead. Set down a path, put an object on the start of the path, and put the end node of the path onto the place that you want the object to go. Set the end action of the path to stop. This means when an object hits the end of the path, it'll stop. You can overlay multiple objects by adding in additional nodes on the path. If you're interested in other advanced path tricks, TalkGibberish has a rather informative video on the subject. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Right, now let's get down to the juicy bit. The bit you've probably been waiting for. How the heck does the paddle work? Now, of course it uses paths, but if you've tried to recreate this mechanism yourself, you might run into some issues. You see, ordinarily, a path has two states, on and off. You can set the on speed and you can set the off speed. You could set one of these speeds to be negative, so that objects can go backwards along the path. The problem is that we need a third state. As well as travelling backwards and forwards, we also need to make things stay still. To do this, we're going to turn the path on and off really fast. Let's run through an example. We'll set an active speed of 100 and an inactive speed of -100. Let's connect up a switch to this path just as a demonstration. When we turn the path on, the object goes right. When we turn the switch off, the object goes left. Now, let's go back into the editor, delete the switch, and put in a relay. We're going to turn this relay into what's called a one-tick clock. Let's set the relay to send to the same channel on which it receives, and then set the switch requirement to all inactive. This relay is now sending to itself. When it's turned on, it tells itself to turn off. When it's turned off, it tells itself to turn back on. Because of this, the relay rapidly alternates between being on and off many times a second. Now, when we enter a level, the relay tells the path to turn on and off very quickly. It spends a tiny amount of time going at a speed of 100, and then the same tiny amount of time going at a speed of -100. Because these two speeds cancel out, items on the path stay more or less still. We now understand the theoretical concept, but how do we hook up input switches to take advantage of this? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple. This is the simplest known mechanism that allows you to control paths with input switches. Place 3 input switches. Have 2 detecting left and 1 detecting right. Have them all send on the same channel as the path. Now, place a relay that sends and receives on the same channel as the paths. Set the relay to all inactive. Now set the path to 1 active. And now... Oh, hang on. No, that's it. That's all we need to do. When we press left, the path goes left. When we press right, the path goes right. At this point, you should be able to change the mechanism to fit your needs, such as changing the speed of the path, or changing the input switches to go up and down. But we're still going to cover exactly why this mechanism works. When you press left, 2 input switches are on, so there's always at least 2 ons sending on the channel. Because 2 is greater than 1, the 1 active requirement of the path cannot be met, and so the path is inactive. The relay doesn't figure into this at all. It could do whatever it wants, but because there are 2 ons going to the channel, it will never meet the 1 active requirement. This means the path is inactive, and because the inactive speed is negative, it goes left. When you press nothing, all the input switches are off, and the relay alternates rapidly between on and off. So overall, the channel alternates between having one thing that's on and nothing that's on. This means the 1 active requirement is rapidly cycling between being met and not being met. As we learned previously, this means the path appears to stay still. When you press right, just 1 input switch is turned on. Now, this input switch is sending not only to the path, but the relay too. To reiterate, the relay is now receiving the on signal from the input switch. Because the relay is constantly receiving this on signal, it no longer cycles rapidly. This means the right input switch is left as the only item sending on the channel. This means the 1 active requirement of the path is met. The path turns on, and that makes things go right. One final note, the block breaker paddle is actually 3 separate paths. If you put all the punches on the same path, then when they get to the ends, they'll start to overlap. To get around this limitation, you need a path for each object on the paddle. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next time we'll be covering 2 levels, the Duck Hunt Recreation Jungle Safari by FlowArt, and Dance Dance Revolution Recreation Move to the Music by Glorious Cashew. Before I go, I should mention that the creator of Block Breakout, FlowArt, streams on Twitch from time to time. I've left a link to their channel in the description. Please go and give them a follow and check them out when they're online. Anyway, that's it for now. Bye!